Hello and welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with The Diary of Anne Frank. Chapter 12, Break-In. April 11, 1944. My dearest Kitty, my head's swimming and I don't really know where to begin. Everything was normal when I wrote to you on Thursday. We played Monopoly on Friday and Saturday afternoon. The days passed by rather quickly. On Saturday around 2 p.m., heavy machine gun firing again. Everything was quiet otherwise. The warehouse was broken into at 9:30. Father, Mr. Von Don, and Peter were downstairs instantly as we women waited. 4 frightened women needed to talk, and that's what we did till we heard a bang downstairs. Everything was quiet after that, and we were calm even though we were scared out of our wits. What was that bang? Where were the men? We heard footsteps on the stairs at 10 o'clock. A pale and nervous father entered, followed by Mr. Von Don. Lights out, tiptoe upstairs. We're expecting the police, he whispered. This wasn't a moment display of fear, and we went upstairs. No one told us what happened as the men returned downstairs, returning only at 10 past 10. 2 of them kept watch at Peter's open window as the door to the landing was locked with a bookcase shut. We covered our nightlight with a sweater, and they told us what happened. Peter had heard 2 loud bangs when he was on the landing. Going downstairs, he saw a large panel missing from the left part of the warehouse door. Rushing upstairs, he alerted the home guard, and the 4 of them went downstairs. They entered the warehouse to see the burglars busy in their act. Police, Mr. Von Don screamed without thinking, and the burglars fled. The board was replaced in the door so the gap wouldn't be noticeable to the police. A swift kick from outside sent it flying back to the door. The men were stunned at the burglars' audacity. Mr. Von Don angrily slammed an axe against the floor, and everything was silent after that. The panel was replaced again, and the burglary attempt foiled. Suddenly, a man and woman shone a bright light across the opening, illumining the entire warehouse. All 4 men raced upstairs behind the bookcase. Undoubtedly, the man and the woman outside had alerted the police. It was Easter Sunday, and that meant the next day, Easter Monday, was a holiday and the office would be closed. That meant we had to be perfectly still till Tuesday morning now. Think of the pain of having to sit in a terrified state in the pitch darkness for a day and 2 nights. Mrs. Van D had switched off the lamp in her fear. It was 11 and there was no sound. Father and Mr. Von Don took turns coming up the stairs to us. We heard a noise below at 11:15. We didn't move an inch, and the only noise we heard was our own breathing. We heard footsteps in the house, the private office, the kitchen, and finally the staircase. There were no sounds of breathing now, and only our hearts pounded. There was a rattling on the bookcase, and I cannot describe that moment. We're done for now, I whispered as visions of the Gestapo dragged us away haunted me. The bookcase was rattled again twice, and it caved and fell. Then the footsteps receded. We were safe as of now. Everyone shivered, and I heard many sets of teeth chattering, although no one uttered a word. We remained like this till 11:30, and heard no more sounds within the house. But a light shone at our landing, banged in the front bookcase. There was no one in the building, but maybe someone stood guard outside. We tried to guess what was happening, although we were scared. Then we used the bathroom in turns. All the buckets were in the attic, and all we had was Peter's metal waste paper basket. It was midnight, and we were all fatigued. We lay down on the floor to sleep, and I was so tired I dozed off at 2:30, only to be waken up an hour later. We should hide our radio, Mrs. Van D moaned. In the stove, Mr. Van D suggested, but if they find us, they'll find it as well. They'll also find Anne's diary, Father added. Burn it, the most scared member of the group suggested. That was the scariest moment, along with the rattling of the bookcase. Not my diary. If that goes, so do I. Thank God Father didn't say anything after that. I comforted Mrs. Von Don, who was scared to death. We spoke about escape, Gestapo interrogation, calling Mr. Kleinman, and being brave, among other things. We must act like brave soldiers, Mrs. Von Dan. If our time has arrived, so be it. It'll be for Queen and country, for freedom and justice, as they were always telling us on the radio, I preached. Soon it was 5:30. I sat with Peter by his window and listened. We sat so close to each other that we felt each other's body trembling. I'm attaching the list that the men had for Mr. Kleiman. Burglary. Police in building, up to bookcase, but no farther. Burglars interrupted, forced warehouse door, and fled the garden. Main entrance bolted. Kugler may have leapt through the second door. Typewriter and adding machine safe in black chest and private office. Laundry in the wash tub in the kitchen. Only Beck or Kugler had key to second door. Lock may be broken. Warn Hahn and get key. Inspect office. Also feed cat. Everything else went according to plan as Mr. Kleiman was phoned. Then we waited for either Jan or the police. Suddenly we heard loud footsteps below and everyone thought it was the police. It's Jan, I said confidently. There was a knocking at our bookcase and we held our breaths. Mrs. Von Don sank to her chair, almost fainting with the sheer tension. Jan and Miep arrived to be greeted with shouts and tears. Nailing a pine wood board above the gap of our door, Jan left Miep to report the break-in to the police. Miep also had discovered a note slipped under the door by the night watchman, Sleegers, who had also alerted the police. Jan intended to meet Sleegers. We just had a half an hour to put the house and ourselves in order. It was a magical transformation in just 30 minutes. Jan returned at 11 and had the following story. Sleegers was asleep, but his wife informed Jan how her husband had discovered the hole while on his rounds. Fetching a policeman, the two had searched the building. As night watchman, Sleegers patrols the area and every night to his bike, accompanied by 2 dogs. He would come and tell Kugler the rest on Sunday as per his wife. No one in the police station knew anything about the break-in, but they would come on Tuesday morning to investigate. Jan met Mr. Van Hooven, our potato supplier, informed about the break-in. I know, Hoeven said calmly. Last night, my wife and I noticed a gap in our door when we walked past your building. I peeked in with a flashlight, and that's when the burglars must have fled. I didn't call the police to be on the safer side, as it wouldn't have been sensible in your case. Mr. Van Hoven obviously guesses we are here, as he always delivers the potatoes at lunchtime. A good man. By the time Jan left and we did dishes, it was 1 o'clock. All 8 of us went to bed. I woke up at 2:45 and met Peter downstairs. We decided to meet in the office a little later and freshen up. You still dare go to the front after all that's happened? Mr. Peter asked me. I nodded, took my pillow, and we went together. The weather was lovely, and even with the air raid sirens blaring after a while, we stayed there. We put our arms around each other's shoulders, staying there till 4 when Margot arrived to fetch us for coffee. That evening, I thanked Peter for being the bravest of us all. We came that danger that night truly because God was watching over us. The incident brought about a lot of changes. Dussel will be carried out on his work in the bathroom now, and Peter's patrolling duties in the house will be from 8:30 to 9:30 at night. Peter cannot keep his window open anymore, as one of the keg people have noticed it was open. Neither can we flush the toilet after 9:30 at night. Sleegers has been hired as night watchman, and a carpenter from the underground is arriving tonight to create a barricade out of our white Frankfurt bedsteads. Mr. Kugler has scolded us for our carelessness, and Jan has forbidden us from going downstairs. We must decide if Sleegers can be trusted, if the dogs will bark hearing someone behind the door, and how to create barricades. This incident has served as a strong reminder to us that we are Jews in chains, chained to a spot without any human rights but with numerous obligations. Setting aside our emotions and feelings, we've got to be brave and resolute, bear discomfort without complaining, and have faith in God. One day these war clouds shall blow over. The time shall arrive when we will be treated just as people again instead of just Jews. Who has brought this pain upon us? Who has segregated us from the rest? It is God who has made us the way we are. And it is God who shall save us. Maybe our religion will one day teach the world about goodness, and perhaps that's the reason why we suffer now for a larger cause. We can never be just Dutch or just English. We'll always be Jews as well. But we shall continue being brave and strong. Only the weak fail while the strong survive. The night I thought I was going to die, I was ready to give my life for my country. But now that I've been spared, my first wish after all is the war's over to be a Dutch citizen. I love this country and its people, and if I must, I shall write to the Queen herself to achieve this goal. I'm becoming more and more independent of my parents. I'm not sure what I want now as I have a goal. I also have opinions, love, and religion. I know I am a woman with inner strength and courage. If God lets me survive, I'll achieve much more than my mother. I shall step into this world and work for mankind, as all you need is courage and happiness. Yours, Anne. And that's the end of that chapter. See you later.